What if the biggest threat to Westeros isn't external enemies, fire-breathing dragons, or ice zombies marching from beyond the wall, but instead comes from the people who are supposed to be protecting it? A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is about to drop a betrayal so massive, so politically devastating, that it'll make you rethink everything you thought you knew about loyalty, family, and why Targaryens should never, ever be left unsupervised with their own ambitions. Before we dive into the treachery that's about to flip the Seven Kingdoms upside down, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell, because Westeros Throne is bringing you betrayals, backstabs, and the kind of family drama that makes your Thanksgiving dinner look peaceful. Let's set the stage for what's coming, because context is everything when we're talking about Targaryen betrayals. We're in an era where the Iron Throne isn't secure, where multiple branches of House Targaryen are eyeing the crown like it's the last piece of cake at a party, and where everyone's got opinions about who should be ruling. Egg is in line for the throne, but he's so far down that line, he might as well be in a different kingdom, which means there are a lot of people ahead of him. And in Westeros, having people ahead of you in succession is basically an invitation for creative problem-solving involving poison, daggers, and convenient accidents. Now here's where it gets spicy. The betrayal we're talking about isn't some random knight switching sides or a bannerman deciding he likes the other team better. We're talking about blood betraying blood, family turning on family, the exact kind of internal Targaryen destruction that eventually leads to civil wars, dancing dragons, and the slow collapse of everything that made House Targaryen powerful. This is the beginning of the end, disguised as just another political disagreement. The core issue driving this betrayal is something tale as old as time: power. Someone in the Targaryen family looks at the current situation and decides that the person sitting on or heading toward the Iron Throne isn't the right person. Maybe they're too weak, too idealistic, too willing to listen to common people instead of maintaining absolute royal authority. And when Targaryens decide someone isn't fit to rule, they don't write strongly worded letters. They plot, they scheme, and they betray. But here's what makes this particular betrayal so devastating. It's going to come from someone close to Egg. Not a distant cousin nobody's heard from in years. Not some cadet branch on the other side of the realm. We're talking about someone within the inner circle, someone who knows the players, understands the stakes, and has access to the kind of information that makes betrayal actually effective. This isn't amateur hour. This is professional-grade treachery executed by people who understand exactly how to destroy a rival from within. The genius of this betrayal is that it's not obviously evil from the traitor's perspective. They're not cackling villains twirling mustaches. They genuinely believe they're doing what's best for the realm, or at least what's best for House Targaryen. They see Egg's idealism, his friendship with a low-born hedge knight, his concern for common people, and they think, this kid's going to weaken us. This kid's going to make us vulnerable. We need someone stronger, someone more traditional, someone who remembers that Targaryens rule through fire and blood, not through mercy and reform. And you know what? From a purely practical standpoint, they're not entirely wrong. Egg's approach to ruling does challenge the established order. His reforms do threaten noble privileges. His friendship with Dunk does blur class lines in ways that make the aristocracy uncomfortable. So when someone betrays him, they can justify it as protecting the realm from a dangerous radical, even though the dangerous radical is actually just a kid who thinks peasants deserve basic human dignity. The mechanism of this betrayal is going to be classic Westerosi politics. Whisper campaigns that poison reputations. Strategic alliances that isolate targets. Manufactured scandals that turn public opinion. Legal maneuvering that makes illegal actions look legitimate. This isn't a dagger in the dark, though there might be some of that too. This is a comprehensive political assault designed to destroy someone's claim, credibility, and support network all at once. What makes this betrayal shake the realm isn't just that it happens. Betrayals happen constantly in Westeros. What makes it realm-shaking is the precedent it sets. When family members can openly move against each other over ideological differences, when blood ties stop meaning protection, when the Targaryen unity that conquered the Seven Kingdoms fragments into competing factions, that's when things get truly dangerous. Because if Targaryens are fighting each other, They're not maintaining the fear and respect that keeps the realm in line. The timing of this betrayal is particularly brutal. Dunk and Egg are out there having adventures, helping people, building Egg's understanding of the realm and its problems. They think they're preparing Egg to be a better ruler someday in the distant future. Meanwhile, back in the centers of power, plots are forming that could destroy Egg's future before it even begins. It's like studying for a test while someone's busy convincing the teacher to expel you. All that preparation becomes meaningless if you're not even in the game anymore. Here's the truly insidious part. This betrayal is going to force Egg to make impossible choices. Does he fight back and risk open conflict with family? Does he try to take the high road and hope justice prevails, knowing justice in Westeros is whatever the strongest person says it is? Does he use his friendship with Dunk to solve problems through force, which would prove his enemies right about him being dangerously untraditional? Every option is terrible, and every choice comes with consequences that'll haunt him for decades. Dunk's role in this betrayal is going to be fascinating because he's the ultimate outsider trying to navigate insider politics. He can punch enemies, win tournaments, and protect Egg from physical danger all day long. But political betrayal? Whisper campaigns? Legal maneuvering? That's not something you can solve with a sword. And watching Dunk realize that his strength and honor are useless against this kind of threat is going to be painful. You're going to want to help Egg, going to want to fix this, and going to be fundamentally incapable of addressing the real problem. The ripple effects of this betrayal extend far beyond just Egg's immediate situation. This is the kind of event that creates rifts lasting generations. Families remember who betrayed whom. Alliances form based on who supported which side. Grudges develop that influence decisions decades later. This betrayal is planting seeds that'll grow into the poisonous tree of Targaryen infighting that eventually destroys the dynasty. And let's talk about the dramatic irony here, because it's delicious in the most horrible way. We know how Egg's story ends. We know he eventually becomes king. We know his reforms face constant resistance. We know he dies trying to bring back dragons because he feels powerless against entrenched nobility. This betrayal is part of why he feels that way. This is one of the M. Thanks for watching Westeros Throne, and remember, in the Game of Thrones, the only thing more dangerous than your enemies is your family. Here is something else to consider about this release timing. By late 2025, it will have been over a year since House of the Dragon Season 2 aired, which means the fandom is going to be hungry for content. HBO is counting on that hunger to translate into massive viewership numbers for a night of the Seven Kingdoms. They are also probably hoping that the show will bring in new fans who might have been intimidated by the sprawling complexity of Game of Thrones or the heavy dragon-focused narrative of House of the Dragon. This is meant to be an accessible entry point, and the release date suggests HBO wants to make a big splash with it. Let's also talk about the international implications of this release, because Game of Thrones is a global phenomenon. A late 2025 release means HBO has time to coordinate with their international partners, set up simultaneous releases in multiple territories, and build hype worldwide. This is not just an American launch. This is going to be a global event, and HBO knows that the international audience is just as passionate about Westeros as domestic viewers. They're going to make sure that fans in every corner of the world can experience a night of the Seven Kingdoms at the same time, which is smart business and good fan service. Now, what should we be doing between now and the late 2025 premiere? Well, if you have not already, this is the perfect time to read the tales of Dunk and Egg novellas that the series is based on. They are quick reads, they are fantastic, and they will give you so much more context and appreciation for what the show is trying to accomplish. Plus, you will be able to smugly point out differences between the books and the show, which is basically a requirement for being in the Game of Thrones fandom. The release date announcement also means we're going to start seeing the cast do press tours, convention appearances, and all the promotional work that comes with launching a major series. Get ready for interviews where the actors carefully avoid spoilers while somehow making everything sound incredibly exciting. Get ready for George R.R. Martin blog posts that may or may not contain subtle hints